guys, today I'm going to show you how I maintain my big plants and clean up my flowers. This is just the typical maintenance this time of year. We're getting near to the end of July. So I'm going to first start off with showing you how I go ahead and pinch my large Coleus. I'm going to show you on my large Coleus here. It's beautiful, it's perfectly shaped, but we don't want it to get any longer right now. We want it to stay beautiful and bushy, not get tall and lanky. Because if we get one bad windstorm, the wind could whip it and then it could break and snap right off if it's just tall and leggy. So we want it to still get bigger, but we also want it to stay bushed out in nicely uniform, bushy shape. So here, let me show you what I do. So this right here, all we do is the growth right on the top. As you can see, it's just right there. So just pull these down a little bit, take a look at that. I want you to see exactly what I am taking off here. So I am taking off this top part of the Coleus. Okay, so now that's going to stop it from growing up for a little bit, and it's going to allow these two little growths on top to bush out. But then it's going to allow all of these other growths along the entire stem and underneath here to bush out. That's where the plant is going to focus now, and that's what's going to create it to not get leggy. That technique will stop it from becoming a really fragile plant in the wind, and it'll just look better, and it'll bush out this way, and it'll bush out down the side. So you're just going to get more of your plant by doing that technique. And then I just go around and do that to everything else. So any other top that I see, I'm just kind of going ahead and taking those off. Okay, so that's it. I already went through and pinched this large Coleus in the back, and this one in the front here, I'm not going to pinch yet. You see the size difference here? This Coleus size to this Coleus size? We want this one to become this size before I go ahead and pinch it. So I'm gonna let this grow out a little bit more, and probably in about 3 to 4 days, I'd say, it'll be grown out a lot more, and that's when I'll go ahead and pinch that one too. I love keeping my plants clean as well. With this umbrella grass, I just go in, and any of them that are really leaned over and that are already coming to an end, I go ahead and I go down and cut it off. You can take it all the way down to the bottom if you want, but you can also take it right here because that's where a lot of the other ones are starting to grow. If you see these ones here, these fresh new ones, that's the height of the new growth. So you can just cut it to the height of the new growth and it gets hidden. Well, the window boxes are getting massive, but there's a lot of varieties that aren't doing well. So today, I actually went through and I pulled out the blue Victoria Salvia like we talked about in the last window box video about how it wasn't looking good, and it just came to an end. I was like, it just didn't look good, so I just pulled it out. Well, actually I snapped it off to the bottom because I didn't want to pull it out and disrupt other plant roots, so I just cut the bottom and took them out of there, and already it's starting to look better. So I want to discuss this vertigo grass. It's beautiful, and yes, I want it to get huge, but I need to start controlling it so it doesn't kind of cover all of the other varieties that need sun. I want those other varieties to continue to grow because those are our colorful varieties. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys how I do that. You don't have to take your time. You don't have to be super picky. Anything that's covering these plants right here, I'm lifting up and holding like a ponytail, and then right where I'm holding it as a ponytail, I'm just going to go ahead and cut that right there. If you have a lot of time and you want to be more picky, you can take one by one off all the way down to the bottom stem, because right where I cut, you may get a little brownness as they start to die off, but for me that's fine because by cutting those, it allows these to get larger, which will cover that. And by the time the brown shows, it'll be fall time and it'll be perfect. you can see all the other varieties. And now that they can see the sun, they'll start blossoming more. And with the snapdragons, I went ahead and deadheaded any of the bad ones. So let me show you how I do that too. So these are the bad snapdragon flowers. And I go all the way down to the first set of leaves here. I cut it off. And right where I cut it off, there's all kinds of growth on top and along the stem. So all of these will start growing up, and then all of those will have flowers as well. So this will be super colorful in another 2 weeks. With geraniums, cleaning them is a whole other story. I don't just cut wherever. When it comes to dead flowers, I take them all the way down to the actual stem, to the bottom of the stem of the flower. And then I just go ahead and snap that right off. I'm gonna go ahead and do that with this one as well. There we go. And that one had some more flowers on it, but I just really want to show you guys how to do this. Take it all the way down to the bottom. And then same with leaves. I take geranium leaves all the way down to the plant. Now let's talk about verbenas. So with verbenas, you always want to take the dead flower here off to the first set of leaves. And if you're someone with as many gardens and flowers as me to clean, you don't have time for clippers. So you just go in there and do it just like you would with a dandelion. Just pick it right off like that. Right off like that. And there you go. I'm gonna go in there and cut it. But instead of throwing it away, we're gonna put them in a vase because these are gonna be some really great fillers for my bouquets. We're gonna go ahead and just put them in there for now. Okay, now that those grasses are under control, it will allow everything else now to fill in. So in 2 weeks, these window boxes will look completely different. Well, at least I'm hoping they will, because ever since we went on vacation up north and came back, it just never has looked the same. So it's been kind of a constant battle in keeping it looking good. So we'll see. We'll see how it fills in. The way petunias still look nice, but I am going to go ahead and trim the back so they don't get heavy. By trimming them right now will allow them to last a lot longer. So I just go ahead and cut wherever. There's nowhere specific. I'm just giving it a layered haircut and that's it. Show you some other stuff. Well, I'm going to give you guys a little refresher lesson on how to pinch and clean your petunias, because this is that time of year where you really need to. So these are the night sky petunias. What do you guys think of these? Let us know in the comments below. These have turned out to be one of our favorites this year. They're so unique and they really have this glow about them, especially as the sun is going down. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I deadhead. So I'm just going to go ahead and I just take the dead flowers right off. A lot of people say you need to take this off, but with all of the specialty petunias made nowadays, you don't need to take this off unless you're dealing with an old style petunia. So we're just going to go ahead and eliminate all those. Go on underneath, see all those? You don't have to pick off the underneath ones because they're already hidden, but I was going to go ahead and show you kind of what's going on under there, okay? So we're just going to go on like that. There you go. So you see this one here? We're going to go ahead and take that tip off. So once you see a long vine of petunias, you want to go to the very tip, the very top of it, and take just that little piece off right there. See? It's all you take off. You see this one here? This is the top of that vine. So we're just going to go ahead, go on in there, and take that off. So with the bad sunflowers, we take them all the way to the stem. So we find it all the way down, right down in here. There we go. With the nasturtiums, I take off all of the bad leaves and flowers. They're edibles, so as soon as their leaves are done, you need to pick them off so that way the plant can continue to focus on all of the growth. Even on the vines, you can't always keep up with them, but if I see bad leaves, those leaves come off. So just if they really stand out and they're really bad, we go ahead and do it that way. If you guys notice, our vines are finally neating up, so that's exciting for us because we've been waiting for a long time for that. We got another zucchini. I did the twisting, so I got a little crazy with that there. I grew these sunflowers here so they would add the height in the box, and I knew that once they grew up, they wouldn't take any lower space because I wanted other things to kind of grow in between. So now that they're growing up, their leaves on the bottom get old because they're not getting the sunlight. So that's when I go ahead and remove those leaves, because if you keep them on, they really attract bugs. And by removing them, it also allows more sun to filter in here, so some of the vines can vine through here, the tomatoes can lay a little easier in here, and it'll turn out to work out just like I planned in my head. So. Now if you notice, it's already starting to air out in there a little bit, which is perfect. That's exactly what I was imagining when I started this bed. We have a cucumber. Here we go. All right, with these I just go ahead and remove the flower, just like I did with the verbena. So you could just pull the flower off, but then you end up with this there. So I just always go ahead and just snap it like you would a dandelion. Look how beautiful these snapdragons look. These are the ones I started indoors, the Madame Butterfly cut flower series. So we're going to be cutting some of these in a couple days. We're going to have a cool photo shoot done in the garden by someone else other than me, which will be nice to have a different, perspective on the gardens, and we'll cut some bouquets and have them placed on our outdoor dining table. Have more snapdragons that need some tending to, so I'm going to go ahead and take all those bad flowers off to promote more new flowers. And I'm going to be careful because I've already cut my finger pretty bad. Oh, it needs a new band-aid.
Yeesh.
Yeah, gardening can be dangerous. I'm a real thrill seeker in my garden.
She's getting a little too crazy with the clippers there.
I might need stitches. Well, I was going to wait to cut my herbs tomorrow, but it looks like the cilantro is just about to seed out, and I want to cut it before it seeds out. Once it seeds out, then it's kind of shot. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that, and tomorrow we're having Mexican. And margaritas.
Yeah. Wow,
it smells
looks good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that we are not throwing in the pail. Well, that's going to be it for today, guys. I got to go tend to my finger. I might need stitches. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys gained some tips that you can use in your garden and throughout your containers, and just make everything look that much prettier this season. So once again, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe to the Lawrence Network. If you like this video, put a thumbs up. And thank you so much. Have an awesome day.